we live in a world that unfortunately celebrates ignorance. And that's not just the United States.
One of my favorite, not to cut you off, but growing up in Southern California, punk rock, and there's an old punk rock band, No Effects, and they said, "How can democracy work when ignorance is celebrated?" Yeah. Exactly what you said, right?
I mean, there's so much truth to lyrics and music, right? Music is oftentimes the history book of the future, right? So we're seeing that. We're seeing that ignorance is celebrated. If you're ignorant, you actually could live a happier life.
Ignorance is bliss.
Oh my gosh, man. If you're ignorant, then everything is new and interesting. If you're ignorant, then you're always principled and everybody else is always the man, right? Like it's celebrated. And we see that from media and television and the kind of, even the books that we reference, right? Anybody can create a book on anything, anywhere, and they can post it to Amazon or call it an ebook or get an ISBN number and it's a published book. Whereas it used to be something important when you had a book, right? It was vetted, it was peer reviewed, et cetera, et cetera. So my point with all of that is the first step to being able to fix the problem is to recognize that we are all ignorant to start. If you feel like you're not ignorant,
you're the problem.
You're the problem.
Yeah.
You're deeply ignorant. I know that I'm well educated. I know that I'm experienced. I know that I'm worldly. And I know I am ignorant about a lot of things. There were at least 4 questions you brought up today that I had no background in, right? I am fully ignorant in most of those things. And if that's just in one conversation, if you and I had 5 conversations, how many more areas would I be ignorant? So you have to become acutely aware that you are ignorant. And then you have to become acutely aware that the people who are knowledgeable where you are ignorant have the advantage over you. They can shape your knowledge. They can shape your opinions. They can shape your feelings using messaging and narrative because you won't even know that there's an alternative. Once you have those 2 things in place, once you understand that you're ignorant and then you also understand that your ignorance creates a vulnerability that other people can exploit, then you have, hopefully, enough self-respect to start chipping away and becoming less ignorant in different areas. I mean, you have said this at least a half dozen times. Read this book. Look this up, right? Take a look for yourself. You've said those words in our conversation. That is giving people an opportunity to chip away at their ignorance and become a little bit more knowledgeable. Even if they're becoming more knowledgeable in something that is wrong, you have to become more knowledgeable in a wrong thing to discover that it's wrong. It's just like what you were saying about your friends who send you articles and you're like, take 10 seconds to just read this thing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like ignorance is celebrated and nobody is calling into attention, like nobody's calling attention to it.
Yeah.
No one is raising their hand and saying, I'm ignorant and I'd like to fix that.
Yeah.
Instead, everybody's saying, I know for a fact, irrefutable evidence. I know it's true. We actually don't. Information is not vetted.
Yeah.
And you can find an answer that's in line with your belief system anywhere that you want to on the internet, unless you start to question your belief set and your sources on the internet.
Freedom! So fresh, so new. Freedom!